Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security chief, is accusing CBS of shameful editing of her interview about Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran national who is battling another deportation. Here's most of the 26 seconds that Noem has posted as excised by Face the Nation.
This individual was a known human smuggler, a MS-13 gang member, an individual who was a wife beater, and someone who was so perverted that he solicited nude photos from minors. And even his fellow human traffickers told him to knock it off.
Abrego Garcia's lawyer says the administration should stop making negative claims about him that pose, quote, a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing this procedure. So, Megan, CBS has now caved and said, oh, we're changing everything because of audience feedback, meaning media criticism, and will only broadcast live or live-to-tape interviews, and will post a full, unedited interview. CBS did put some hours later the thing on YouTube.
And they also posted a full transcript. So I remember when this happened with Vice President Harris when she was running.
I remember that too.
And I was
funny.
here and I said that's an unforced error on their part. They should not have done this. But I think this situation is a little bit different. Those are unsubstantiated claims that she was making. And I think when you have to cut things for time, things that don't make her answer any more substantive, and it wasn't substantive for the interview, I think that they have license to edit. And I think that's what they did here. So I'm not sure that it's the same exact thing as I don't think it's the same as them cutting. But I do think if people are concerned about it, then only do live interviews. And that's one way to get around this.
Or live to tape means you do it as if it was live and then you
Correct.
Don't change it. So plenty of interviews are edited for time.
Yes.
But what do you think of CBS's decision to delete that 26 seconds, among other things that were deleted, where Kristi Noem denounces Abrego Garcia in great detail? We haven't independently confirmed these allegations, but that's what she said.
But there are important facts about Kilmer Abrego Garcia that the media would rather not discuss that have been adjudicated in court during the vast due process that he has had throughout his time in the U.S. as an illegal immigrant. He's been to immigration court. He's been to other forms of court. He's had various actions taken against him. And to not mention any of that other information prejudices the conversation about Kilmer Abrego Garcia. Like, you need to actually have those things.
Why do you say that the media would rather not discuss those
because the
questionable details?
The picture of him without all of his former offenses is a better picture for saying this kind of person should be in the U.S.
A dad living in Maryland.
In perpetuity.
Yeah.
Actually, the whole process of bringing him back, which I think was the right thing to do, because I think the administration missed a step in his due process. They bring him back. They adjudicate it again. Now we know that what actually people wanted was that he stay here forever. They don't want the due process, because now that he's being deported again under that due process, they say, no to that. But I think keeping his image clean was the preferred version for those who were going to visit him in prison, who were having margaritas with him, mainstream Democratic politicians who did so.
So especially given the history, you mentioned the Kamala Harris interview, Mary Catherine seems to be suggesting that this is pure media bias.
I don't necessarily think it's that. I mean, I've staffed several interviews for a bunch of politicians. I think most reporters are going to not want to do live or live to tape, because they get so much more time if they do, and then they would get so much more time with a person to interview if they had 45 minutes and then they could edit it down. So I think that's going to impact a lot of the substantive conversations you will see moving forward with politicians or other people. So I don't think it's necessarily a media bias. I do think with this specific case, to your point, those facts have not been substantiated. He's not a member of MS-13, but the president went out there and said that he was. And so I over and over again. So I think that them cutting that out is something that made sense in this instance.
I think there's a middle ground here, too. And I think Noem did the right thing by posting the original. If you can have your own tape and play that tape, we're fighting words with words, and that's what we should be doing. And by the way, it's a better approach than what the administration sometimes does, which is threaten broadcast networks. You should just fight them with your own words, fight them with transparency, fight them with Rubio, who goes on there and hands everybody's butt to them. These things are the way that you fight in the press. And actually, this is a pretty good way of doing it.
But CBS did post the full transcript on their website and posted the full interview on YouTube. So I do think that CBS did do that. And that is something that is very traditional. They have done for years, is post those full transcripts.
Yeah, it's when you deviate from that you get in trouble.
That's right.
Well, interesting side note is that the Trump team, the sound of this, was trashing Margaret Brennan, who's the host of Face the Nation, but she was off that weekend, and Ed O'Keefe actually asked the question. So it's like she got beat up for no particular reason, at least in this case.
Gratuitous. I don't know if it's gratuitous with her, though. Perhaps she deserved it anyway.
So since you've staffed these things, you try to prepare for every possibility. But again, it seems like it's always against Republicans that these things, or if it helps a Democrat like Kamala. Just briefly.
I don't necessarily believe that's true, and I don't think that's true. I'm sure there are several instances. This just was not an issue, and social media has taken a complete rise since even the 2020 election. It's so much more in use, so these things are so much easier to get a hold of and to go viral. It's a very different media landscape than it was even 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.